Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and being a producer of Wrestle Massacre as well as Inside Movies Galore, I am David Strege, and welcome to Delusions of Grandeur. Enjoy the reviews. I certainly did.
Okay, Dave, that's it. Screw you and your college flunkies. I've had enough of this from you and from everyone else. I know what you guys are trying to do. Break me down, drive me out of the force. Well, it's going to take a hell of a lot more than a lame prank like this to get Curtis Mooney to throw in his badge, so fuck you. Over.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another What's in My Room episode. My name is David Strege. This is Delusions of Grandeur, and I'm going to tell you some more titles that start with the letter V. So this you might have seen in my new release pickup video, but it is a letter V, and it's well, these next two. So Viking Destiny, which is directed by David L.G. Hughes, and it's distributed by Lionsgate. And Viking Blood, which is directed by Yuri L. Schwartz, and it's distributed by ITN Distribution. Let's see, Viking Blood, Viking Destiny. Okay. Next I have Virgin Territory, which is a comedy of sorts, and it's directed by David Leland, and it's put out by Anchor Bay Entertainment. It stars Hayden Christensen, Misha Barton, and Tim Roth. Hayden Christensen stars as the charming scoundrel Lorenzo D. Lamberti, who can and does deflower any woman he wants in the 14th century Florence. But the only maiden that truly sets his heart ablaze is the sexy beauty Pampinea. Misha Barton of the OC, who is also being pursued by an obsessed Russian count, Matthew Rhys of Brothers and Sisters, and a psycho nobleman, Academy Award nominee Tim Roth of The Incredible Hulk from 2008, who has vowed to take her virtue. In a time when lust is contagious, can trickery become the ultimate act of seduction? Christopher Egan from Aragon co-stars in the sexy action comedy where one kiss may unlock a world of pleasure and anything can happen when you're in virgin territory. So, next I have a film I ended up... this is the final director's cut of Visions of Suffering, which is directed by Andrei Iskanov, and it's a 2-disc affair. So it's from Last Exit Entertainment. It says the Andrei Iskanov collection. So I believe it shows German on the back here. Says Region 0. So yeah, Visions of Suffering. That should be interesting. Now, this has also been known as Test Tube Teens from the year 2000, but it is now called Virgin Hunters, and it was directed by Eileen Cabot. Virgin Hunters was the original title of this film. However, at the time, our distributor thought it was too controversial and asked us to change it, which we did, and the film was released as Test Tube Teens from the year 2000. So evidently this is now Virgin Hunters. The classic 80s sci-fi sex romp. So, alrighty. Next, I have this. This has 1, 2, 3, and 4 of Vampire in the Palace, and these films are from Africa. I ended up buying them from Robert Pinto, who is he's an actor as well as a special effects guy in Africa. That is very, very cool. He was trying to help out some of his local filmmaker people to get them out to internationally to other people on the Facebook groups, and I applaud him for that. Next, I have A Voice from the Stone, which this was put out by Momentum Pictures, and it was directed by Eric D. Howell, and it stars Emilia Clarke and Martin Sokas, who you will actually find on, I believe, that martial arts series. I forget the name of it at the moment. But here I have the Donald Farmer Vampire Cop Blu-ray. I have the DVD in the first video that I did of my letter V's. Next, I have a film that was directed by Catherine Glass and Dennis Devine called Vampires of Sorority Row. That's a David Sterling produced film. Next, I have Voodoo Rising, which is the second film of Eddie Lengyel. And this is distributed by SGL Entertainment. And I have not watched this one as of yet, but definitely plan to. Next, I have Vengeance, which is directed by Daniel Zorilli, and it stars Danny Romo, Raul Julia Jr., Damon Whitaker, Erlinda Orozco, Daniel Venegas, and Lorenzo de la Cruz. So it says their fate is written in blood. Looks kind of interesting. So I'll put that here. Give me one sec as I... Next, I have a film called Vixen Highway, 2006. It came from Uranus. the unrated director's cut from Tony Tex Watt. And he is a Canadian American that I know and I have interviewed and right now he lives in Canada, but he originally got his name Tex from Texas. So I think that he is a very cool individual to talk to. Next, I have Virtuous, starring Eric Estrada, Brandy Allison, Jessica Lynch, and the film is directed by Tara Marcel. Virtuous, put out by JC Films. Sounds like it's a Christian film or something like that. Might be. Next I have Viva, one of the first films that the Love Witch put out. It's a film by Anna Biller, and it states she was a housewife seeking kicks in a world of swingers, drugs, playboys, and orgies in the lurid 1970s. A cult epics release. So, yeah, Viva. Looking forward to this unrated version of that particular film. Next, I have another film by the same name as the previous film, Vengeance. This one is directed by Jose Miguel Bonetti, and this stars Stephen Bauer, Ving Rhames, Adrian Bellani, and Catalina Rodriguez in Vengeance. Next, I have Violent Shit. This is released by Real Gore Releasing, and this one is directed by Luigi Pastore, and the original motion picture soundtrack is by Claudio Simonetti. If you know that name, that's from Goblin. But this is number 146 of 3,000 copies of this particular film, and I believe this is the Violent Shit, the movie. This is the German release of this film. So, yeah, it's got a cool little booklet here. Or actually, I actually ended up with a soundtrack. And it's got a cool little booklet. So yeah, Violent Shit, the movie. Kind of glad that I ended up getting KJKL. Oop, Violent. Oh, yep. Violent Shit. Next, I have an unearthed film called Viscero, Between the Ropes of Madness, and this is directed by Sebastian Amenabar. Oh wait, that's who the poster design is by. But this film is directed by Philippe Eludi. So, looks kind of interesting. Visceral, Between the Ropes and Madness. So, Visceral. Next, I have Virus X, which is directed by Ryan Stevens Harris. Restricted area. The threat is real. Next, I have a Troma film called Virgin Beasts. Apparently from acclaimed Australian cartoonist Toby Zotes comes Virgin Beasts, a mind-bending psychological sci-fi fantasy in the tradition of Yellow Submarine. Richard Linklater's Waking Life and Ralph Bakshi's Fritz the Cat. Blending live action with twisted animation, Virgin Beasts tells the story of a gang of young surfers struggling to survive in post-apocalyptic Sydney, as if nuclear holocaust weren't enough to deal with. The continent has fallen under the rule of the evil Dr. Turd and heartless Sir Blow, who deal out pain, humiliation, and fear with an iron fist. When the nefarious dictators attempt to capture the free-spirited surfers, with the assistance of their beautiful, lustful, and deadly female virgin beasts, the gang strikes back in an all-out war to restore peace and free love to the land. Virgin Beasts. Next, I have Vaulted, films from the Yellow Ape Vault. And this is from Yellow Ape Productions. And on here we have Cold Dead Hand, Penelope, and A Farewell to Arm. Cold Dead Hand, Penelope, A Farewell to Arm, and Haunting Day. So, there's that one. Vaulted. Stick that back here. Next I have Valley of the Dolls, which that is directed by Mark Robson. And it's based on the novel by Jacqueline Susann. These dolls want it all. Susan Hayward is in here. So this is an older film, definitely, but Valley of the Dolls. Next I have Voodoo Dolls. Distributed by Retro Media. And the film stars Christine Nagayan, Beverly Lynn, and Michelle Bauer. Looks like a sexy number there. Next, I have just a film called Voodoo, You Are Going to Hell, and it's unrated. And the film is directed by Tom Constable, and it's distributed by Wild Eye Entertainment. You Are Going to Hell. Nothing has prepared you for this. Interesting. Alrighty. Next. Give me 1 sec. I have Dennis Quaid, Matthew Fox, Forrest Whitaker, and Sigourney Weaver and William Hurt in Vantage Point, and that is directed by Pete Travis. I have Viggo Mortensen and Jason Presley in Vanishing Point. and that's put out by Anchor Bay Entertainment and directed by Charles Robert Carner. Next, I have VIP, My Brother Superman, a hilarious spoof on your favorite superheroes. And that's put out by Digiview Entertainment. You would probably have found that in the dollar section or whatnot. Here's the 2-disc limited edition of V for Vendetta. Ain't that cool? And that is directed by James McTeague. And it stars Hugo Weaving and Natalie Portman in it. Here is a film called Vampire Circus. And this was directed by Robert Young. This is a Synapse release, a Blu-ray combo pack of a Hammer film. And this is from 1972. So, yeah, that's one of my favorite films. Next, I have Vlad. And this one is directed by Michael Sellers. And it's put out by Xenon Pictures. And it stars Billy Zane, Brad Dourif, Paul Popowich, and Cam Heskin. Next, I have Robert De Niro in Voyage About de l'Enfer. Evidently, 5 Oscars for this, 1978. I don't even know what the name of this is. But I guess it's directed by Michael Camino, and it's got Christopher Walken in it, I guess. Robert De Niro. This is an army movie. Un film de Michael Camino. Oh, okay, so this is a French version of The Deer Hunter. Huh. Okay. Next, I have Vacancy 2, The First Cut. So this is supposedly a prequel to the original film. And this is directed by Eric Bross. And it stars, let's see, if the camera is on, you're dead. And it stars Agnes Bruckner, David Moscow, Scott G. Anderson, R.J. Smith, Trevor Wright, Boo Billingsley, Brian Klugman. There we go. I have Vacancy 2, The First Cut. Next, I have Vampire Party, put out by Dark Sky Films. That's the distribution company. And it is directed, I believe, by Checky Cario. And it stars Patrick Mill, Frederic Bell, Julie Fournier, Vincent de Sagnet, Sam Carman, Helen de Fogarales, Antoine Dulery, Gilles Gaston Dreyfus, Jean-Luc Couchard, and Joseph Malerba. So there we have A Vampire Party. And of course the slasher film Valentine, directed by James Blancs, or Jamie Blancs. So that, I believe, is almost concludes my All right. So I ended up picking up a second copy of this. I actually have this elsewhere, but this is Vincent Price's Scream Legends collection, and this has Tales of Terror, Twice Told Tales, The Abominable Dr. Phibes, Dr. Phibes Rises Again, Theater of Blood, Madhouse, Witchfinder General, and Vincent Price Collection Disc of Horrors. It includes featurettes, Vincent Price Renaissance Man, The Art of Fear, and Working with Vincent Price documentaries on that final disc. I believe. Yep. So 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 discs, I think. So yeah. Wonder if you can see all that. But it's still in its packaged form and whatnot there. Next I have Sue Hark's Vampire Hunters. 5 Heroes, A Coven of Vampires, A Lot of Bad Blood. But Hong Kong thrills in the vein of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So there's Vampire Hunters. Next I have Voyeur.com, which is directed by Miles Fieldman. The Site Everyone's Dying to See. Next I have Vampire Assassin, The Bounty is Blood, starring Ron Hall, Gerald Okamura, and Rudy Ray Moore. And it's actually directed by Ron Hall, who stars in it, I guess. So that should be interesting. And last but not least, for this particular video, I have Valhalla Rising, put out by IFC Midnight Collection. It is directed by Nicholas Winding Refn. And God, was this film slow. I know that it was put out by the director of the Pusher trilogy and Bronson. But I didn't even realize I'd picked up a Nicholas Winding Refn film, to be honest. I just saw the Viking Valhalla Rising thing on it, and I like Mads Mikkelsen as an actor. But this was very, very, very slow and very, very, very boring. I can't stress how it was visually stunning, but it was virtually boring. In any case, thank you for listening. Have a great day, evening, or morning, wherever you are. This has been the second video of my V's, so hopefully you get a chance to check out my first video, and I'll definitely have some more stuff to go on about eventually. So thank you for listening. Thank you for stopping by, and I just enjoy showing you my collection. So thank you so much.
You were good, kid, real good. But as long as I'm around, you'll always be second best, see?